name's DanConnors. I'm the CEO at Telltale Games. We are here talking about different business models in the digital space, and specifically about Telltale's business model, episodic business model, which we've had multiple series run and created multiple episodes. At this point, Telltale's 4 years old, and we've created about 29 episodes and across 5 different franchises. So really getting into how that business model positions us as digital distribution and online commerce becomes more mature. Well, our games are based on franchises. We go out and we go after brands that have great characters and great stories, because we believe if we're going to deliver episodic content, it needs to have a thread through it. It needs to have something that'll bring people back, and interesting characters and interesting stories do that. So we work with Wallace and Gromit, Sam & Max and Monkey Island, which are famous game franchises. We work on the CSI franchise, and we also work on a franchise called Bone. So all of them have characters, loyal followings, and characters that have been fleshed out by the creators over time. We integrate them into our games, which are story-based games and have story-based mechanics where people interact in the world and solve puzzles and talk to characters, find new situations, and the story unfolds through that interactivity. So it's really quite a differentiating factor for Telltale to be both episodic and more focused on character and story than, say, shooting or running or jumping or whatever else. Well, we generally do the stories over for one season. We're not out 4 or 5 seasons from now. It's very much, okay, let's get this arc down. But it is a 5 or 6 story arc. And we flesh that out, and then we put the meat on each of the episodes one at a time. So really the cool thing is we'll start a season out with a certain intent, but as people play it and users feed back to us, we'll start getting ideas, we'll start figuring out which characters are interesting, which aren't, what part of the story people are really into, and it'll really start to mold the shape of the season. So this idea of producing creating this arc and then producing the stories within that arc, as time goes by, we have this tight feedback loop with the players, and it really is an exciting part of it. It's almost like live music or live television performance, where we're really feeling the impact. But also building out the mechanics. If you look at games and what games are built to do, a lot of it supports a style of gameplay. And to this point, there hasn't been a lot of investment in the types of things that support strong storytelling. Presentation from a cinematic standpoint, camera moves, acting, timing, all these things that are critical in engaging a person into a story have kind of been secondary to death animations and explosions and those types of things. So we're really focused on building the best technology for doing those things. And becoming the best interactive. There's a real opportunity to become the leaders in interactive storytelling. We're trying to leap on that. We fund the development, but the products start to come out before the product is completely done. So we're almost building a product in 5 chunks and starting to sell it at the first chunk. So we spend X amount of dollars to get to a point where we can distribute it, and then we immediately start collecting revenue from that. We also pre-sell. You can buy a season pack where we pre-sell the additional episodes. So at the same time, we are collecting money that can go to fund the development of the future episodes as well. So it's actually, from a cash flow standpoint, it's quite advantageous to us as a business. Well, the PC is the most mature platform right now. It has all of them. I mean, Facebook is there, forums are there, websites, blogs. It has a whole mature online ecosystem that you can tap into and frankly innovate on and make new things happen with your games. So at our own site, telltalegames.com, we have a real good ability to exploit all the different opportunities that the online space presents. At the same time, as we exploit those, we take them over to our partners at Microsoft or at Nintendo or at Sony and start talking about what we need them to support and how their platform can support the same types of behaviors that the web currently supports, to make those more mature and being able to do this and being able to distribute. So it's definitely something where we're using the PC almost as a petri dish for getting the formula right, and then we're taking it out to other platforms. For CSI, it's a very mature licensing arm, but you're right, it is sophisticated because you're going so far as to take the characters and put them into a situation. Now, they do have novels and other things like that, so they're real good. They have their rules, and they review the ideas. But they trust us to, once we present what we're going to build, they trust us to create the interactivity. So it's really been about establishing a good relationship with any partner. You know, with Wallace and Gromit, there were certain rules. With Sam and Max, there were certain rules. So every creator has certain things that are critical in keeping the integrity of the license intact. But the more mature the licensing arm is, the better they are at communicating to you what those are. And then you just don't break them, and you know, at that point, then you're just adding talent to your pool of people that are your mind power behind the franchise. So I think it's a win-win for everybody.